Saturdays come. Nah, I'm not going to sing. Today I'm going to continue going through my books. This is my collection, the collection, part 6. And first up, we have Siegfried's Journey by Siegfried Sassoon. This is an old Albatross edition, an authorized edition at that. Has an albatross in the back. I kind of like this work here. This is a World War I novel. Sassoon is a pretty good writer, and he's very descriptive of his experiences. Highly recommend this. I prefer his Schurston's Progress trilogy to this, but this is not bad. It's a good World War I novel. Most World War I novels were, and mostly, they're pretty good, especially the French and English ones. And even the German ones are pretty good too. A lot of detail, a lot of good stuff. Okay, here's a great book. Anthony Trollope. He knew he was right. And this is not in the Palliser series or in the Barchester series of novels. This is basically a story about a marriage falling apart and the jealousy of a man destroying the marriage. His wife has a friend who's an older male, much older male, but he's still jealous of her friendship with him. And it totally poisons the marriage. And this is a voluminous novel. It's a long read, but it's a very good one. And it just slowly delineates basically the main male character, who's sort of a jealous tyrant, just becomes insanely destructive. And it's a very good book. Good cautionary tale for anyone to read who has to deal with jealousy and stuff like that, which we all do at times. It's a human emotion. We all experience it at times. And then we sometimes grow out of it, and sometimes we don't. Some people, I don't know. Can't speak for myself. All right, here's another Anne Bronte book, Tenant of Wildfell Hall. I like the picture at the front. Oxford Classics doing pretty good here with the marketing. This is another good Bronte book. Anne wrote pretty good too. It's about a failed marriage and a son and a woman trying to keep her son from her abusive and profligate husband. And it's a very good read, and it's very from the woman's point of view, which is really nice to see, which unfortunately was very rare at the time she wrote this book. So it was really neat that she had the courage and the fortitude to write such a novel. And it's very good. I highly recommend it to anyone, not just women, because it's well written, has a good plot, and it's pretty much truthful about jealousy, and not jealousy, but just kind of the way men ran things and women really didn't have any rights at the time. All right, here we go. The Bacchae, Euripides, and other plays. And the Bacchae is an incredibly poetic and violent play, and it's very good. The Woman of Troy is pretty good. Helen, all right. Ion is pretty good. Euripides was a very good tragedian, and this is ancient Greek stuff, and it's really, really good, steeped in myth and all kinds of stuff. But the Bacchae is a really incredible experience as a play to read. All right, last up is one of my favorite Austen novels, Jane Austen, Persuasion. And this is a winner. It's a good book. Again, Jane Austen is outstanding. A great prose writer. The way she structures her novels, the humor, everything about it, the interchange between characters is just really, 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 really great. I can't say it enough. Okay, here's a famous one. John Wyndham's The Chrysalids. I love the artwork here. You can see it. It's very good. By the way, I'm not wearing shoes today, and I'm torn jeans. It's kind of a lazy Saturday. And, this is a apocalyptic book. After a nuclear war, things start happening that are very strange. And I'm not going to give away the plot, but some people probably already know the plot. But this is a very good book, and definitely in the vein of Wyndham's other book, Chalky, and some of the other ones. Okay, here we go with another one. Kate Chopin. I always want to name her like the pianist. The Awakening and Other Stories. Ooh, look at that. I wonder if that gets flagged. But it's a painting, and it's very well done and tasteful. She's got the morning hair going. Yes, the daring novel of a woman's sexual and spiritual rebirth, which is pretty much true. It's a good work to read. Very adult. I wouldn't recommend it to teenagers. Could read it. It's not that lurid. It's pretty much tame. All right, this is a book I bought out of curiosity. The cover, the paper cover is kind of destroyed. It's a Globe classic on the natural faculties by the great ancient scientist and doctor Galen. Basically, it's about, the faculties that we have and how nature bestows them and how we must take care of them. And it's a pretty good book. It's pretty interesting. And it shows how knowledgeable some of the ancients were about such things. They weren't dummies, human nature being as it is. Although there will always be dummies, of course. I'm galloping out of the pastures, but that's okay. All right. Oh, this show one is fucked up. All right, I got it. Pardon. All right, next up, and I gotta reach to get to this one, is an excellent novel by Trollope again, and it's called The Eustace Diamonds by Anthony Trollope. And this is an outstanding book. There's a Lizzie, the character of Lizzie, I think her name is Greystoke or whatever. An incredible character. I mean, just this novel is not only very serious, and it deals with it's diamonds being taken from a legacy and a woman keeping them and using every subterfuge she can think of to including marriage to keep them. And it's funny, and there's a lot of drama and a lot of intrigue too. It's one of his best novels. I really like it, and it's a very entertaining read. I recommend it to anyone. It's one of the Palliser series novels. Eustace Diamonds, or Eustace, I don't know how you want to pronounce it. If you want to go with the Italian, you can. All right, this is another outstanding work that I'm lucky to have found. E.T.A. Hoffmann's The Life and Opinions of the Tomcat Mirror. And yes, this is written as if it's an autobiography of a cat. And all the vicissitudes and experiences of a cat's life are totally delineated in this book as if the cat is a conscious human being, but not human. It's very funny, very serious, and it's all that. And it's a very, very good read. It's very entertaining, and I wish everyone had the book because it's so enjoyable to read. A lot of funny stuff too. Hoffman always has humor in his stuff. Horror, humor, and serious stuff. Underlying all that is a serious commentary about the way creatures commingle and get along and don't get along. It's good stuff. Okay, this is one of the Icelandic Norse sagas. Orkneyinga saga, the history of the Earls of Orkney. You know, from the 13th century, this isn't bad stuff. But I wouldn't recommend it unless you're really into this stuff and you've read Haldor Laxness, who is great, by the way. I love Haldor Laxness. He writes great. You know, Independent People is probably one of the best novels ever written. But it's not a bad book. It's not a good book, but hey, might not be up your alley. Okay, this book I mentioned yesterday when I was going over Virginia Woolf's The Waves, and I talked about how all of her prose is excellent. All of her novels, you know, they're good. And they're going to be rewarding, and you'll probably like them. No matter, I don't care what stage of life you're in or where you're at or what you do, you're going to enjoy these because they're very human and they touch upon things that we all go through. And Night and Day is one of those where it's a series of people that are meeting each other and they're trying to figure out who they're going to spend the rest of their life with. And it centers on a very wealthy family. And Catherine Hilbury is the main character, and it's such a richly drawn character. So yeah, this is a great book. I really highly recommend it. It's one of her early novels, and it's really good. Really, really good stuff. Okay, I got a couple more to go here. And this is a classic right here. Connecticut Yankee at King Arthur's Court with the famous opening, I believe. Yes. Wait. No. Hold on. No, this ain't the book I'm thinking about. But yeah, Connecticut Yankee at King Arthur's Court is a very fun and enjoyable read for people of all ages, from 10 years old to 90 years old, or even 100. It's very fun. Twain is a very entertaining writer, and he's a very good writer. And he can interpolate some serious stuff into it, which is nice. It's good to see. Okay, here we are with the Chrétien de Troyes, Arthurian Romances. This is a modern library edition, I believe. No, Everyman Library. Duh. Pretty good shape. Solid. Like it. Lancelot, all of them. Some of them that you've never heard of, like Eric and Enid. Well, some of you have heard of them, some of you haven't. Lancelot, Yvain, Cleges, good stuff. Saga stuff, but more European, less Norse. Norse is European, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Okay, here is what we're gonna. I'll go to one more and then I'll be done. Edward Gibbon, the great historian, wrote the Rise and Fall of the Roman Empire. Memoirs of My Life. Basically, this is an outstanding book. A very pleasant read, a very short book. And, he didn't finish it. But he wrote enough to give you an overview of his life and the things he'd done, and it's very interesting. Gibbon was a very interesting man. Highly recommend it. I even love the painting in the front. It's a painting in Geneva. I can get it. There we go. The steeple in the background. Great stuff. Last up, once again, we go back to the Well House with Anton Chekhov. And this is Lady with Lapdog and Other Stories. And, of course, Lady with Lapdog is probably one of his most famous short stories. You have The House with the Attic. Oh, and Ward Number 6 is in here, too. The Grasshopper, A Boring Story. And Misfortune. And The Lady with Lapdog is, of course, the close. Again, I can't say enough about Chekhov. He's an outstanding prose writer, very descriptive. In a moment, he can encapsulate an entire life. In a description of a moment, he can encapsulate an entire life and character of a person. That is a rare talent, and it's an outstanding talent. It's something to behold. All right, that's it for today. I went a little bit long. Take care. Have a great day, folks.